The 2021 season has ended, and what a season we have had. There's been many highs and many lows for drivers, and some even experienced both. But one thing is for sure, you won't forget this season in a hurry. In today's video, we are going to look back at some of the best moments of the season, and then as always, we'd love to hear your favourite moments from this great year. So let's not waste any more time. Stephen, take it away.
So there is no doubting that 2021 saw a big shift in the youth movement and saw a lot of promise many of the drivers showed in 2020 materialise into more consistent and refined performances. Take the first two races of the season for example. Pato O'Ward secured pole in the season opener, and Alex Palou went on to achieve his first victory within the series the next day, making it the perfect start to life in his new team and championship bid. The following week, after being involved in an opening lap crash at Barber in week 1, Colton Herta then secured pole position and dominated the streets of St. Pete to claim his first victory of the year. This really set the tone for the rest of the season, as Pato O'Ward, after coming close so many times, finally secured his first series victory at the second race at Texas in a thrilling performance that saw him haul his car to the front of the field despite the difficulty in overtaking on the super speedway. Rinus VeeKay, the 2020 Rookie of the Year, secured his first pole position at the IMS Road Course the previous season. When he returned in 2021, he went from 7th to 1st on race day to claim his first time win in the series. Pato would add another victory to his tally in Detroit, and Palou and Herta would also add 2 more victories each to their season total to make 9 out of the 16 races won by drivers under the age of 25. 2021 was definitely a coming of age for the young talent in the series. Even though VeeKay dropped away in the second half of the season after a cycling accident where he broke his collarbone, the four seemed destined to be fighting at the top of the championship for many seasons to come.
But even though youth were trying their best to steal the limelight, the experienced drivers weren't going to sit back and let them have it all their own way. Scott Dixon won the 3rd race of the season and first at the Texas Motor Speedway, a track where he's done so well at in the past, winning for the 5th time at the circuit and securing his 51st career win. He led the most laps in both races at Texas that weekend, but only came away with 1 victory, and that summed up Scott Dixon's season. Despite his best efforts, it just fell short overall, despite some strong performances such as securing pole at the Indy 500 where he was favourite for the race until bad luck on a timing of a caution ended his 500 dreams at the first pit stop sequence. Scott's teammate Marcus Erickson finally had a season where everything fell into place. Another first-time series winner in 2021, taking advantage of some bad luck for Will Power in Detroit Race 1 after a late red flag where Power's car failed to restart. Marcus, who was running P2, inherited the lead and controlled the final laps to earn his jump into the fountain. His second win came again with some good fortune. After launching the Swedish space program as he mounted the rear of Sebastian Bourdais and prepared for takeoff, miraculously he only suffered a broken front wing and a penalty for his troubles. Bourdais wasn't as lucky, but through some blistering pace and well-timed cautions, Marcus worked his way to the front of the field ahead of Colton Herta, who had dominated most of the weekend up until that point. Marcus drove brilliantly in defence against Colton, and when Herta lost it late on into a tyre barrier, it left Marcus cleared to claim his 2nd series victory and inaugural winner of the Nashville GP. 2021 is definitely the year Marcus Ericsson found his feet in IndyCar. An honourable mention is deserved for the victim of Marcus Ericsson in Nashville. Sebastian Bourdais is the French veteran of the series who won 4 back-to-back titles in Champ Car with Newman Haas Racing, had a standout year for AJ Foyt Racing, which turns out will be his last full-time season in the IndyCar series. Despite Marcus not being the only one to rear-end Sebastian through the year, he still managed to achieve 4 top 10 finishes with a best of 5th, which he achieved twice at Barber and Gateway respectively. For a small team that has secured 1 victory and 5 podiums in the past 10 years, it was a pretty respectable way to bow out of full-time IndyCar.
The rest of the season wins were shared between 2 Team Penske drivers, Will Power and Joseph Newgarden, with the latter being mathematically in with a chance of the title at the season finale in Long Beach. The most successful team in the sport's history had a real tough season. It took till the 10th race of the year for Joseph to secure his and the team's first win of the season. This came after securing pole position in the previous 2 races at Detroit Race 2 and Road America, leading most laps at both races, but coming away without a win due to a poorly timed caution that stuffed his strategy in Detroit and a rare mechanical failure in Road America that saw him fade to the back at the restart of a late caution with just a few laps to go. Newgarden's season had also started off on the back foot with an uncharacteristic driver error at Barber on lap 1, ended the start of his season prematurely. But his second victory of the year on the short oval at Gateway had brought Newgarden back into the title contention, and it is a testament to the talent, the two-time series winner, that he somehow managed to drag himself into an unlikely title fight. Will Power's win came at the place where he has been so strong over the years, at the IMS road course, as Indycar returned there for a second race in the season with a double header with NASCAR. It was his 5th win at the road course, 40th career win, and it buoyed him on to securing his 63rd career pole position at Gateway the following week. It was another up and down season for Power, where his race weekends were affected by things both in and out of his control. The best example of this was Will being involved for the first time in his career in bump day at the Indy 500. A day in his IndyCar career he probably never hoped to be part of again, and was full balls of steel in his last lap that secured a spot in the greatest spectacle in racing. He still showed, however, that on his day he can compete with the best in the series.
Another big team who struggled to deliver consistent on-track results were Andretti Autosport. Despite Colton Herta securing 3 wins and 3 pole positions, he went into the final round of the year completely out of title contention. Alexander Rossi was backed by many to bounce back from a poor 2020 that saw the American complete his first season without a victory within the series. Well, you can add 2021 to the list of winless seasons now, as Rossi's woes continued. A combination of driver error and being plagued with misfortune, Alexander Rossi could only muster 1 podium all season, statistically one of his worst in the sport. With Colton only on the up and an impressive Roman Grosjon joining to drive alongside him next year, it's an uphill battle for the 2016 Indy 500 winner. Ryan Hunter-Reay struggled for consistency in what would turn out to be his last year after an incredible 12-year spell with the team, which has seen him lift the championship and Indy 500 in 2012 and 2014 respectively. And it is this year's Indy 500 where arguably he had his best performance until a late issue with the brakes that many drivers suffered within the race ended his run for potential 500 glory. Hinchcliffe rounded up the struggles for drivers within the team not named Colton Herta, as he secured just the 1 podium at the Music City GP, and a 20th place championship position leaves his IndyCar future, especially with Andretti, in doubt.
Out of the midfield teams, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing were the most consistent package all year. Graham Rahal had a superb season, finishing 7th in the point standings. He even looked like he might get his first win since the Detroit doubleheader in 2017 at Portland, but unfortunately cautions didn't fall his way and the wins slipped away. His biggest heartbreak came at the Indy 500 though, when he lost a wheel coming out of the pits. Difficult to say whether he would have challenged for the win, but certainly would have been right up there. Sato had a fairly consistent season with 8 top 10 finishes in what looks to be his last year with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. There have been some fantastic displays of driver skill in wheel-to-wheel racing this year, and it is one of the biggest assets of the series. The car allows the drivers to race closely and robust enough to allow some hard elbows out racing. Here are some of our favourite moments from the season.
hasn't all been great overtakes from our drivers. Sometimes they got it wrong, or sometimes it was completely out of their control. Here are some of those moments from this season. Oh dear. Definitely not some of the best moments of the season there. What was, though, was the all-star rookie lineup for the 2021 season with F1 veteran Romain Grosjon, NASCAR legend Jimmie Johnson, and Aussie supercar star Scott McLaughlin all joining the series this season. Out of those three, Scott McLaughlin was the only one who ran full-time, running with Team Penske. It was a challenging year for Scott as he was a genuine single-seater rookie, but one that showed plenty of promise that he can find pace in the series and be successful. His highlight of the year came at Texas Motor Speedway when he finished second behind fellow New Zealander Scott Dixon in race 1, making it the first ever Kiwi 1-2 in the series. Jimmie Johnson ran part-time, running a street and road course only calendar. Like Scott, he had never driven single-seaters competitively before, and you have to say this season has been a steep learning curve for the 7-time NASCAR champ. What you can't take away from Jimmie is how hard he has worked this year to improve, and at the back end of that season, that hard work was definitely paying off with improved results and competitiveness from Johnson. At 46 years of age, he had nothing left to prove to anyone in his career. He'd done it all in NASCAR. But you have to have nothing but respect for Jimmie with how he has taken to the challenge of IndyCar. He's brought new eyes to the series. In Carvana, he has brought one of the most active sponsors in the series, and we are excited to see how the JJ story unfolds in IndyCar, especially as he will run the 500 next year. But the real standout of the three rookies was Romain Grosjon. Although he may not have won the official Rookie of the Year award, he certainly won himself a lot of fans this season with his performances on track and engagement with fans off it. Grosjon finished the season with 3 podiums for Dale Coyne, 2 at the IMS road course and 1 in a thrilling drive at Laguna Seca, with a clean overtake on Scott Dixon and not so clean overtake on Jimmie Johnson being standout moments from that race. He also secured his first series pole position in his 3rd race in the series and first race at the IMS road course, where he would go on to finish 2nd. On track, Grosjon has been electric. He's gone all out for overtakes and driven with his heart on his sleeve. That excitement and quality has earned him a seat at Andretti Autosport for next season, and we can't wait to see how that all unfolds.
This year also saw a lot of drivers stand in for injuries or teams running extra cars at events, and there was some real standout performances. Centino Ferrucci, America's bad boy racer, showed he still had blistering pace in the 5 races he ran in the 45 Rahal Lemon Lanigan racing car this season, securing 4 top 10 finishes, including 2 6th place finishes at the Indy 500 and Detroit Race 1. Oliver Askew was another driver who ran the 45, while also filling in for injured Rinus VeeKay at Ed Carpenter Racing and an injured Felix Rosenfist at Aaron McLaren SP. The 2019 Indy Lights champion showed his skill again in the series, but unfortunately may not be enough to secure him a ride for the 2022 season. Who could forget Sage Karam's run at the Indy 500 as well, when he went from 31st to 7th for Dreyer Rainboard Racing. We also saw Top Gun Racing enter the series, though they failed to qualify for the 500 RC Enerson finally got to make his IndyCar debut for the team at the second race at the IMS road course. European drivers Kevin Magnussen, Kader Meiler and Christian Lundgaard all made their debuts in this series, with Eilert securing a full-time 2022 seat with the returning Hunkos Hollinger Racing. But it was Christian Lundgaard's qualifying performance at the IMS road course that really caught the eye, as he qualified third for the race. Lots of exciting names have been linked to the series, including the promotion of Indy Lights talent Paul Kirkwood and David Malukas to continue the path of young talent joining the series.
But the real standout young driver of the season has to be Alex Palou. Those 3 wins at Barber, Road America and Portland, combined with a string of consistent results, as well as an impressive P2 at the Indy 500, all tallied up with enough points for him to clinch his first IndyCar Series championship. The first driver to win a title for Ganassi not named Scott Dixon since Dario Franchitti. Alex was on very few people's radar as a title contender going into the season, but after a fantastic drive at Barber, people took note, and every week with his manner in how he conducted himself on and off track made sure people continued taking note of him all the way up till that point where he lifted the Astor Cup. Alex is one of the nicest guys in the paddock. He always has a beaming smile and absolutely loves the series. IndyCar could not ask for a better ambassador for its sport as a champion. It's yet to be seen where this title will take Alex, but one thing that can never be taken away from him was this incredible 2021 season. Every challenge that came his way, he rose to. Even when things looked to turn against him, he never lost focus of his goal to win the championship. What a season, and what a driver.
But we could only round off this video with one moment, and you all know what's coming. That is, of course, Elio Castroneves winning his record-equaling 4th Indy 500. The stars aligned on a day that many thought would never come for Elio. After 2 back-to-back wins in 2001 and 2002, followed by a 3rd in 2009, Castroneves came close so many times to a 4th, but was never quite able to, and when he left Penske at the end of 2020, the most successful team in the Indy 500 history, and the team he had won all his previous 500s with, the dream looked over. Problem is, no one told Elio and Meyer Shank this. On the 30th May 2021, Elio wrote his name into the history book, alongside the greats of AJ Foyt, Al Unser and Rick Mears, as he produced a masterclass to take a victory at the Speedway. With the crowds returning after being sidelined by COVID in 2020, they were treated to the spectacle of seeing Elio climb the catch fence and hang off, raising a triumphant fist. What they witnessed was something truly special from one of the series' truly special talents that at the age of 46 shows age is just a number, as Castroneves looks hungrier than ever as he returns full-time to the series next season. Maybe we'll see a few more memorable performances from the Brazilian.
But that's it. We hope you've enjoyed these highlights of the 2021 season. Our postseason content continues next week as we pick our top 10 drivers of the season, and then the following week we will do a full season review with a special guest. So to make sure you don't miss out on that, what can they do, Stephen?
They can like, subscribe and ding that bell.
Ding it! But for now, you Indy fans, keep
racing.
Keep racing. Oh. You've got to elongate it, Alex. Oh, you had one job, man.